Hello everyone. Today we will be doing the inverse trig ratios, and that is actually how we find our missing angles. So grab this sheet and actually flip over to the back, and we are actually going to start off with number 17. And number 17 is just a review of what we did this class before. So, but just in like a word problem type of problem. So it says that we have a ladder leaning against the wall. So we say that this is our wall and we have a ladder. So you can kind of, imagine a little ladder right here. Like, you know, something like this. You could do it better on your paper if you want to. But it says it forms a 75-degree angle to the ground. So here that is 75 degrees. And then it says the foot of the ladder is 6 feet away from the base of the wall. So this is the ladder, that's the base, this is 6 feet. And we want to find the length of that ladder. So we're actually looking for this right here. So first things first, I will be labeling my triangle. This is my right angle here. So I know that's my hypotenuse. I know that the side opposite is my O, and the side that is touching it, okay, this one, that is my adjacent side. So once we've done that, we can go ahead and look at how we're going to solve this. So we're going to use one of three equations. Remember, that is SOHCAHTOA. And we are only given two additional pieces of information other than our angle. So we actually have our hypotenuse and our adjacent side. So we're going to come over here and see which one of these three requires an adjacent and a hypotenuse. Of course, that is our cosine over here. So we're actually going to use that equation still. We are going to say the cosine of 75 degrees is equal to our adjacent over our hypotenuse, which then of course becomes 6 over x. So I'm going to turn that into a ratio by putting this over 1, and we will say 6 times 1 is 6, and then cosine of 75 times x. So this becomes cosine of 75 degrees. We multiplied that by x, and we set that equal to 6, because 6 times 1 is just 6. From here on, all we have to do is divide the cosine of 75 both sides, and that is going to cancel. So we're going to take our calculator, and remember, always go to mode, scroll down to radian, scroll right, press enter, and degree should be highlighted and blinking. Always, always, always do that. Remember, second, down to radian, so down twice, right 1, and then enter. Second quit, so I can get out of that screen. And then we are going to put that in our calculator. So we're going to do parentheses, 6, going to close my parentheses, divided by the cosine of 75, so cosine 75, and we're going to do that twice. Actually, we should have, that's fine. And then we're just going to press enter. Oh, no, it's not fine. Yeah, this requires another parentheses right here, and that's what we did wrong. So let's try that again. 6 divided by parentheses cosine of 75, close parentheses. There we go. So that will be 23.18, which is 23.8. So again, don't make the same mistake I just did and go ahead and put these in parentheses and then 2 parentheses right here. So x will be equal to 23.2. So let's flip over to the first page once we finish writing that. Now let's talk about the inverse of these functions. So up to this point, we were looking for our missing side lengths. In this case, we are looking for our angles. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and somewhere off into the corner, you can use your foldable or you can rewrite it, but we will do SOHCAHTOA. And here, if you know the ratios of any of these, then you can use the inverse function of that same ratio in order to find the measure of that angle. So in this case, we are looking for this angle. Oh my goodness. We are looking for that angle x. So I'm going to go ahead and label it. Remember, the side opposite our right angle, that is our hypotenuse. The side that touches it, that is our A. And then our side that is opposite our angle, that is our O. So here I have to look at what information is given to me. Of course, my angle, and then I am giving my opposite side, and I am given my hypotenuse. So I know I'm going to have to use that formula that requires an O and an H. In this case, that would be our sine. So normally we would say that our sine of x has to equal our opposite over our hypotenuse. However, that is if we were looking for our side length. So that is for our length. However, we are looking for our degree measure. We are looking for our degree measure. So what we do here is use the inverse function. So we would say that the inverse of sine of x is equal to our O over H still. So let's go look at how we can find our inverse. So pull up your calculator. I'm going to clear this. So we will be using the same button, but we will be pressing second first. So we will say second, and then we're going to press sine. That should pull up this little -1 parentheses next to your sine, and that is how you know you are using that inverse function. So then we are going to do sine of inverse sine of x, and our O is 15 and our H is 24. So I'm going to pull up my calculator again and just do 15 divided by 24, close parentheses, press enter, and our answer is 38.68, which of course is 38.7. So our degree measure here, x is equal to 38.7 degrees. Pretty simple. Let's look at number 2. I'll be labeling number 2 for you, and then you guys are going to solve that one on your own. So let's look at number 2. Number 2, we are talking about this angle right here. So of course, let's go ahead and label our hypotenuse across our 90-degree angle. The side that does touch that angle, that is this side right here, so I'm going to label that my A. And my third remaining side, the side that is opposite, that's going to be my O. So in this case, I am given 2 pieces of information. I am given my adjacent side and my hypotenuse. So go ahead and solve for your x. Call me over when you are done. I will check your work, check that you input it in your calculator correctly, and check that you've gotten the correct answer. Call me over, I'll check your name off, and then we can move on. So again, that's pretty simple. We do have to find the inverse because we are looking for our angle. So I'm going to come over here and I am going to say second. And since I am using the cosine, I'm going to go second cosine. then it was 8 divided by 11. Close that parentheses, and our answer should have been 43, in this case 0.3. So the degree of x is just 43.3 degrees. Our last one will be number 3, and then number 3, I do want you to start off by labeling it, just like we've done always. So our hypotenuse, side that is touching it is A, opposite side is O. So in this case, we were given just two pieces of information, that is our adjacent and our opposite side. So we know that we are using tangent. Tangent does require the opposite over the adjacent. But of course, we are looking for not the side length, which would require this, but our angle measure. So go ahead, solve for this. Call me over when you are done, and we'll check your answer. Then the rest of this, you will do this for homework, front and back. So as soon as you do these, you should be ready for your quiz. So call me over, let me check that out, and then you can get started.